The Music Retail Show.
All right, here we go. We got another episode right in the middle of July. It's nice and hot outside. Man, but you actually just got back from a killer excursion.
Yes, I took a 7-day cruise to Alaska.
Man, that's nice.
Yes.
What's that like?
It was really, really good. I hope everybody is jealous. Flew into Vancouver, which is a pretty city. I've never been there before.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
Well, we went to Calgary, and then we went into Vancouver, and then we got on the boat from there. But man, Vancouver, I'm going to go back to that city. I think it's a beautiful city, lots to do, it appears. I was only there for a day coming in and a day going out. Mm-hmm. So I didn't spend much time there. But the cruise was wonderful. Temperatures were a little bit warmer than what I would expect being in Alaska.
What were they?
But you know, they were the nights and the mornings were probably in the high 50s, and then the days, maybe even in the 60s, and then the days were probably mid 70s, mid to high 70s.
Did you have that nice breeze out on the
beautiful.
water?
Yeah, on the water was beautiful. There were some times where I walked out, because we got a balcony. I walked out on the deck, and it's kind of odd that there's no. It wasn't too cold, too hot. It was like the temperature was kind of neutral.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you didn't feel it. And then there was some mornings like there was like a crispness in the air that was amazing.
I bet.
So scenery this is my second trip. So the scenery is always beautiful there. We ported in Juneau, Skagway, and Ketchikan, which Ketchikan is one of my favorite places. Okay. Ketchikan and Sitka, which I didn't go to this time. Those are two of my favorite places that I've been in Alaska. But all in all, it was a great trip.
And you got to fish?
Yeah, salmon fished, which a brief story there is I seen lots of bald eagles, and we were in a bay in a cove kind of area on the verge of the channel. We were kind of in the middle there, and there was a couple little islands around, and we seen bald eagles up on the top of trees.
Like awesome sight.
It was beautiful, and I caught a rock. Twice we caught rockfish, and then we threw them in the water. We waved them at the bald eagles, and to get their attention, and then flipped them in the water, and they're floating on the water. And bald eagles came and grabbed them. I mean, feet away. Feet right there. But I got video twice of that happening, and that was amazing,
man.
But I seen probably close to 100 bald eagles.
Are you kidding me?
No, seriously.
Gosh.
On that trip back to the boat, I probably seen 50 just in that alone. We went on an excursion to Whale Watch, which we seen orca killer whales, and then we also seen humpback whales. So that was a good time. All kinds of stuff. Yeah, it was a great trip.
Okay. Yeah. Man, that's fun. Actually, somebody was just showing me video the other day that they saw one here, just off of Mac Hatcher, a bald eagle.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a sea lion or something.
There's a humpback whale.
Yeah, there's a lot of those around here. But anyways, we are in the South.
Yeah.
But anyways.
That's right. That's a different type of beach, or a whale on the beach.
Yeah.
But, no, he saw a bald eagle just right over here off of Mac Hatcher. So it's kind of cool. He got video of it, man. It was killer. It came in and
we've got
landed on the tree. Yeah, so they're hard.
Awesome.
They're hard to spot, but they're here.
Yeah, I'm on a hunting lease, and out there at the hunting lease, we actually have a place that we call the Eagle Point, where there's a nesting group of eagles. So like late winter, when all the leaves are down, it's a distance away.
Yeah,
it's on a refuge part, and so we see bald eagles out there, and they're beautiful. They're awesome. Their nests are like 5 or 6 feet wide. They're huge.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Yeah, and I've seen the back home, the Columbus Zoo. They actually have an eagle display there in the nest, and they're literally like, it's almost like if you took the top of this table, and put it up in the tree.
Oh yeah,
huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's weird is the tops of the trees, and I didn't even pay attention to this. It's like they chop them off. I don't know how they do that, but if you look at them, they're cut off, and then a nest is built on top. So I don't know how that happens. They must somehow cut them off.
We need
I
to
don't
get
know.
Jack Hanna to come on the show or something and explain that to us.
But yeah, I don't know how that happens. But yeah, I seen it. So
well, speaking of summertime and great opportunities, we actually are going to have an opportunity here with the podcast.
Yes,
with Franklin Strap. So
yes,
you kind of want to explain that. What are we going to do here?
Yeah, here's what we got going on. Is we have some friends of ours, Franklin Strap. For many of you guys know, they've been friends of ours for a while.
Yeah.
And they're an outstanding company. They're one of those companies. One of the guys there, Charlton, who's a good friend of ours, is just one of those guys that, man, I appreciate his enthusiasm, his business savvy, his love for the industry. He's just one of those guys that, he's just a great guy. They're all great guys, everybody over there. And so what he did was he gave us a couple straps. So we have a couple guitar straps here that we're going to give away.
And they're nice straps. They retail for $50, $60 a piece.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Their product, one thing, and I'm a drummer. So, but I can look at these and they're very, very, very good quality.
Yeah.
If I was a guitar player looking for a strap, I would honestly look at these straps because they are some of the best that I've seen. Now, I've sold straps in the past from all major brands, and like I said, I would stock these, I would have these, I would promote these. These are really, really good products.
Yeah.
So we have both of these right here. We have video going, so some people can actually see them, but those that can't, the stitching is great. It's good quality leather. The ends are really good. Made here in America. Says this sign this little tag right here says "Made in the USA."
Made in the USA, and they are comfortable. I've actually had those on guitars, and it's amazing how it distributes the weight, and it's just absolutely comfortable. How it feels.
So the big question here is, how come Charlton hasn't given you one?
Actually, he has. He has. He gave me one at NAMM last year. I have it at the house.
Well, you should say he didn't and get another one.
Oh, yeah. Charlton, you've never given me one before. I need another
strap.
one. Man, darn it. I did not play that right at all. You kind of dropped the ball
on that. But anyways, I should say I play guitar and I need a strap.
You do need one. You need a couple of them.
Here's what... I can't share this, but there's a bit of information that I can't share, which I know listeners hate when this comes up. But in the future, I'll tell you off the air. In the future, when I come back and go, I gave him that idea. Yeah. Just remember this podcast right here.
Okay.
So I gave Charlton, and Charlton's going to hear this, and he's probably going to giggle. I gave him an idea that I think they can do awesome with. So they will do it because I'm going to bug him until he does it.
All right.
It has to do with drums. So I'll just drop that hint, leave it alone there. But anyways, let's get back to giving these straps away. Again, these are great high quality straps, and we're very, very happy to work with those guys on any level.
Yeah.
So how are we going to give them away?
So what we're going to do is for all of those who have been listening to this podcast, today we're going to talk about Summertime Blues.
Okay.
And so we're going to kind of get into that. So after you've listened to this episode, if you will email the show, which the email address is themusicretailshow@gmail.com, themusicretailshow@gmail.com.
Okay.
If you will email us some of your great ideas of how you beat the summertime blues.
Perfect.
So it's a perfect idea. We know a lot of you probably have some excellent ideas. You've been doing it for years, and maybe you could...
and we'll talk about some of those on an episode later on.
Yes, absolutely. And that would be great. So you're giving us more ideas, and we'll pass those along to people listening.
We'll share them, yeah.
And we'll create a big old family of information. So if you listen to this episode, and when it's done, you go through and you've got a great idea how to beat the summertime blues, email themusicretailshow@gmail.com, and you will be thrown in to be in a drawing to get one of these two straps.
Yes.
So we're going to pick two winners?
Two winners.
And
there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go, hey, I want to check out Franklin Strap. How do I do that? Obviously, you either heard it or you will hear it. We have a commercial that they did that gives all the information, the website, phone number, I believe the phone number, but the website, information about the company. Go to their website. They're easy to work with. Ask for Charlton. There's other people there, but ask for Charlton.
Yeah.
You'll love him to death. He's a good guy.
Absolute killer dude. He's an amazing man. So
we're not making money off this, so let's start and get to something else.
Yeah, okay. that sounds good. Okay, so another thing we wanted to do, Ian, the producer of this show, put out an email a little bit ago about, hey, what are some ideas that maybe we want to talk about on the show? We thought that was a great idea. And hey, guess what? We actually got some response.
Okay.
So
we actually got some response.
We actually got some response. We were excited about that.
Yes.
They emailed.
Thank you for everybody that emailed us back. We appreciate that.
So we've got 3 of them. So
we want to bring up.
We're going to we've got 3 of them that we're going to talk about today. So we won't camp on these long, but maybe we'll do some quick answers. So we've got Lyndon, and
which is a great listener and a very nice guy. I like Lyndon
very,
a
very
lot.
nice guy.
Yes.
So, and we appreciate.
And he has a great wife as well. She's a lovely lady. Yeah, but anyways, go ahead.
We appreciate them. But anyways, he asked about accessories. He wanted to know if we had any great ideas on some lines that we should carry. And then also, he was referencing. He is funny in the email. He's talking about how the times are tough.
Did he bring up the accessories?
Yeah, he did accessories, and he was asking what you did. But before in the email, he was talking about how he was talking about self-care.
Yes,
and talking about how he makes it through the day because he goes over and gets a massage, a back massage at the end of the day.
Chair,
I mean, my gosh, I'd love to live in that world.
Yeah, lucky guy.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. So anyway, if you want to reference anything about self-care, a massage is great. Go back and listen to one of our past episodes that we did on self-care. But Lyndon's asking about accessories.
Okay.
He wants to know, what should people consider carrying?
Well, we're going to bring this up probably in depth in a later episode. Actually, Charlton, we're going to have him come on, and he's really good in that avenue. But I can say from my experience, accessories are obviously, and we'll talk more guitar stuff today, because Lyndon does a lot with the band and orchestra stuff. He does a good job with that. I think he's been in business he's new for only about a year, but from what I can tell, he's doing a bang up job. So we'll talk about guitars, because that's I believe, and he can correct me on this, and I'll bring it up next, new at this, but we're talking about straps. A brief story is Planet Waves before D'Addario bought them out. We were a Planet Waves dealer, and to save you the story, it was a great story. But that they were a company that led me to realize how much you can do in straps. And it kind of opened up the accessory area, so to speak. And I could not believe how many straps we sold. So straps is one. Obviously, strings. My God, you got to have a great selection of strings. The problem there is it's very, very, very expensive. And probably the biggest mistake is you feel like you have to have every string. I would find out, what are people asking for? What do they really want to buy, and start there and slowly grow. But strings is a big thing. So straps, strings, cables. Cables
is a big one.
Is a big thing because they go bad. The ends break. There's all kinds of stuff. So there's some accessories in that area that I would take a look at. But a big part is find out what your customers are asking for, and I would make notes of that. And come back. And if you have one person asking for a harmonica, and you've been, in his case, been open for a year or better, he can correct me if I'm wrong. You probably don't want to stock many harmonicas, but if you've had 6 or 8 or 10, you probably want to get some more harmonicas. Which, on another topic, I used to sell the heck out of harmonicas.
Really?
Oh my goodness!
Was Blues Traveler big back then?
No. But it's one of those shocking things that you would never realize. Maybe because nobody else carried them, but we sold, I don't know how many a week. It was just amazing. It was amazing. So, anyways, but on the accessories, we're going to keep that question. We're going to answer it in detail a little bit more later. That's right. But that's a good topic.
Charlton it'll be awesome when we get into that with him. So okay, now Greg's a good guy. He's down in Atlanta. So nice guy. He was emailing about getting outside of the comfort zone. So he feels like maybe during the summertime blues you might be a little boxed in,
Complacent,
complacent. So he's asking the question, hey, what can we learn on how to sell better? So if somebody was coming to you going, hey, I've got to do something. I mean, I'm in a rut.
Yeah.
And I've got to learn. What should I learn to do better? What should I learn to sell better? What should I be thinking so I can break outside of this box?
Well, the summer, and we'll get into details about this here in a minute, but the summer is a great time, especially if you have employees, is to give them tasks to do. They can learn so much stuff about the product during this time. There's, just because people aren't walking through the door does not mean we don't have anything to do.
Sure.
That's a great time. And again, we're going to talk about all this, is to do so much other stuff. But right now is a great time. I believe on there we're talking about product, is to get to know a product that you're not comfortable with, that you know a little bit about it, but you're not an expert at it. I mean, we're not experts at everything.
Sure.
I mean, let's be honest. So it's a great time to sit back and educate yourself. It's a great time to sit back and examine, what am I doing really good? What am I doing not so good? And how can I do that better? Yeah,
absolutely. And I think a lot of times, people need to just expand their knowledge of things. We talk all the time. Sometimes amps are bigger price tags, guitars are, but the things around it aren't necessarily. So we talked about accessories.
Yes, yeah.
Expand your knowledge on accessories. Hey, guitar players love pedals because they think, here's a Dumble in a box. And I can buy this for $100. I can't afford a $900 amp or $1,500, but they might spend $100. And if you expand your knowledge and maybe bring in a couple other products, it's not a lot, but you're growing, you're stretching yourself. Maybe it'll kind of help get you outside that box.
I agree.
All right, and now we've got Jim. He's got a question, or he brought up a subject that there is no way we can kind of contain it in one. So I guess we can hit it, and then we can maybe talk about it a little bit later. But he's talking about inventory levels. So he's like, he wants to know. He wants to know, as far as inventory levels, he wants to know, how many months should something, or how long should something
How many turns
sell?
should he get?
Or how many turns should they get? Or he even put it in a way, how much should I keep in stock? What's that expectation? That's a big question. There's a lot there.
Yeah, wow, that's a lot. So let me answer it. And again, we're going to talk about more about this in a later episode. Not to brush these people off. I don't want anybody to think that we're not answering the question.
It's a great topic.
It's a super topic, and it's very subjective. A lot of it depends on your area, how long you've been in business, how much money you have.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. He's talking about inventory levels. Well, man, we can all sit back and go, you need to have a packed store full of inventory. Well, that costs a lot of money. So back on to what I believe he's talking about is the amount of turns. That's very subjective, and is subjective to the area, and even goes down to the product that you carry.
Yeah.
And so let me hit that first. So some products now, and we'll talk guitars. I look at a brand, and you've heard me say this. It's an A, B, or a C line.
Yeah.
And so if you're say you're a smaller music store and you have mostly C brands, and I won't name those brands because who wants to be a C brand?
But we know what those are.
But we know a lot of who that is. Our expectations of turns is not going to be as good as if you had an A brand.
Sure.
So we have to evaluate our product, our demographics, and there's a lot into that. But all that being said, me personally, now this is back when I worked retail. I think it's changed a little bit now because of online and lower margins. And you have to turn more product, is I always try to turn our inventory about 3 times a year.
Yeah.
Again, that was just us. That was just a benchmark. As far as how long should I have the inventory, again, that is subjective, but I'll never forget us having a guitar, and we said it had a birthday, which means it was there a year. We literally, it was a major brand, and it was expensive. and we couldn't sell it. And if you go back and listen to some of my past episodes,
Yeah.
it was a model of somebody I don't think is a very good guitar player, but that's another subject. And we couldn't sell it. So we literally sold it. We'll sell it at cost, and still couldn't sell it. And people didn't believe it was cost. So we got the invoice and just stuck it to the guitar,
No, that's
which was
crazy.
kind of, maybe not the wisest decision looking back on it. But anyways, the point of all this, we need to cash out.
Yeah, no birthdays.
Yeah, we did oh my goodness, no birthdays. But we also need to evaluate the product on a regular basis and see what we have.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about paid for inventory in a minute, but I'm going to jump ahead and say that's something that we need to look at is the paid for inventory and how long have you had it? Because you're tying up your cash and you're tying up a whole lot and you need to turn and get rid of that.
Yes. Okay. So, and again, that's a hard one to answer. Great question, though, coming from Jim on inventory.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it a lot more in the near future. So I hope he listens to it in the future. We're not, like I said, brushing
and
them off.
actually, people can go back and reference the podcast that we did on setting goals. I mean, you might have goals for the year, and if you have certain goals, you might have to adjust your inventory to be able to meet those goals.
Sure.
So a lot of that is obviously taken into that consideration. So, all right. So, hey, we appreciate those. Hey, we will always take information and questions like that.
Yeah,
so, and you can email that at the
absolutely.
music retail show at gmail.com. You can email
At yahoo.com?
Gmail.
Yeah, okay.
Gmail.com?
No, I'm just being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
You had that look like, oh no, I just got in a car accident.
Yeah, well, I need to make sure. I don't know how many times I've actually said that email address. I know it's not AOL, though.
Hey, you know what? Today's the first day I found out we had that address.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. So, yeah, we use it all the time.
Yes.
So, but, yeah, you can email that. That would go right to Ian, the producer of the show. And, man, we will
Does he have a
always
name
try
tag?
to.
He needs a name tag.
He does.
or
It says
something.
producer.
Does it?
I don't know.
Okay.
He's got a hat.
Okay.
Has a hat
All right.
that says,
All right.
wait, it's director or something.
Yeah,
like
as
that.
long as he's labeled that
He's
way.
actually
That way
giving
we
us
can-
he's giving us a signal right now.
He's pointing at us. Is that his middle finger?
Is he pointing at the ceiling? What's up?
Yeah.
there?
Is there a fly flying around?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. So, all right. So now, all right, I'm having fun. But anyways, email the music retail show at gmail.com. We would love to hear any feedback, or we'd love to hear any other questions that maybe we can answer as we go along. Now, but it is July. It is actually the last day of July.
Yes.
And
Wow.
so we're going into August.
Yes.
So, hey, this might be good timing for some. Maybe, I don't know. But anyways, summertime blues.
Yes,
A lot
I think
of you-
I'm going to back up and I'm not going to correct you, but I'm going to say it is a good time because if you think about it, going into the summer, we have a lot, of hope and energy and all that. But right now is when we're feeling beat up.
Oh, yeah, we are.
So we're going to release this, and by the time you listen to it, it'll probably be middle of August, or the first week of August,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
So in a week from now, or whatever it is. So we're at the end we're coming into the end of summer, so we've got to get through August and part of September before it picks up. So right now, this is actually a good time to do this because not only our dealers, but all of our friends and manufacturers, everybody is feeling beat up.
Yeah.
So it's a good time to talk about this stuff and try to give each other energy to get through the rest of it to prepare for Christmas and the fall, which again we'll talk about later. But yeah, so I think it's a great time to do this.
Okay, so the big thing though is going through the summertime blues. I think we have to stay active.
Yeah,
Store owners have to
absolutely.
be active. Online retailers have to stay active. And I'm sure there's multiple different ways that we can do that. But I think one of the things that you and I were talking about beforehand was we're talking about you constantly have to be positive. If you're somebody that's like doom and gloom, the world's falling
Turn the
apart.
podcast off, quit listening.
Yeah.
Because this is not for you.
Because the music industry, regardless of the ups and downs, has been like this for a long, long time.
There's summer every month.
Yeah,
Or
there's-
every year.
Every year.
It's on the calendar even.
Yeah, so we have to be positive. Now, you made a concept, and we can talk about this, but not running away from problems, but running towards them. So
Yes.
talk to us a little bit about
that's
that.
kind of always been my natural. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm a little crazy, but whenever there's any obstacle, I don't try to avoid it. I try to attack it.
Sure.
and that's just, it's in my DNA, so it's very natural. But in this case, again, and I've talked about this in the past, I'm from Arizona. Summers are hot. My friends and family in Arizona, I think the other day it was 117 degrees out there. So we dealt with the heat. We dealt with the summertime blues, not just in July and August, but in June and May. And I mean, we dealt with it long and hard. So it was something that we combated a lot. And so this is something that I feel like I got good experience doing. So this is a topic that I'm actually, I hate saying passionate about, but I get excited about these conversations because I had a lot of experience with them.
Sure. Okay. So running not away but towards might be situations where you might have obstacles. You're like, it's not to be afraid of them, but maybe you would try to start incorporating them into what you're doing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, not to cut you off, but I mean, this is a time, say it's a music store. We'll talk about music stores right now. Maybe we'll talk about online stuff throughout, but let's just say music store. This is something that we all have to understand. This is the truth. Music store owners, probably 8 months out of the year, it's fun to be a music store owner.
Yeah.
3 or 4 months out of the year, it's horrible. It's horrible because you got cash flow problems. Mm-hmm. You've got inventory. You got customers not coming in the door. You got electricity bills that are higher. You got people on vacation, so they're not coming in. You've got all this. You don't have band season going on, which creates traffic. You don't. Students go
lessons.
down. Lessons go down. So you've got some rough months that you have to get through. So if it was me, I would just walk around my store and just look at what's going on and say, I have some great assets here. I've employees and I've got product that I've paid for. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, this is not a time to be the margin police, to sit around and go, if I don't make X amount of margin, I am not going to buy it or sell it. I'm just going to, whatever. I worked for a guy like that. Mm-hmm. He's out of business.
Yeah.
Okay, not the right time to be that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you could walk around and you could just sit down. And this is something else that I think is super, super, super important. And I've talked about this is being candid with your employees and tell the employees, listen, guys, this is a horrible time of the year for us as retailers. I'm not making as much money. Bills are coming due.
Yeah.
We've got to try to create something. I need your help.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of power in that because now it's not just you against everybody, but you have staff that is willing to jump in with you and be part of your team. You guys are a team, be a team.
Yeah.
And then also to look at the inventory. It's time to look around at stock that you have in your store and start targeting it. And we talked in the past about spiffs on stuff.
Yeah.
Now's when you pull out and you give spiffs.
Yes.
Because you have inventory that's paid for, and you may have had them for 6 months ago.
No birthdays.
No birthdays. Or if you have something with a birthday. I know I've talked to people that have had guitars for a couple years, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But now's the time to target that inventory, put a spiff on it, do whatever you want so we can target it and get it out of your store.
Yeah.
Because it creates positive cash flow. Right now, cash flow is what we're looking for. We want to get product in here. Don't worry as much about margin. I'm not saying going out and lose money and give stuff away, but don't let margin be the primary. Let it be second or third.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and truth be told, a lot of music stores have great product. People want the product, but, they're distracted by the summertime. So,
Yes.
Maybe having those sales where you're not concerned about margin, like we talked about, Christmas is a great time to talk about margin. But right now,
make your money at Christmas time.
Yeah, get some of that cash flow back in the door, on some products that will sell. There's people out there that want these things, want this, whether it's guitars or amps or pedals or accessories. And so you just have to make it at the right price. I mean, we all know everything sells. It just needs to be the right price. Now, let's not be silly about it, but at the same time, we can put it away. That's a smoking
it's
deal.
kind of like it's a great time for a music store to just kind of go to the old sales technique of low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about margin, or not about margin, but a price point.
Yeah.
So go through your store and find those acoustics that are $100, $150 and run a sale on them, promote them, do something, because you still have people that want guitars that they can take on vacation, or campfire guitars and all that. So, there are price points. Maybe today it's you're not going to make as many gross dollars, but you need to make money selling lower end product.
Yeah.
And not be afraid of that. You got to find out what are people looking for? What are they needing? What can they afford? Because they're thinking about vacations. Back to school is a big thing. I went to a place over the weekend, and I was like, oh my goodness, it must be back to school, because there was tons of parents. And so moms are thinking about buying shoes and clothes and books and all that. They're not thinking about buying guitars.
Yeah.
So we have to hit price points. We have to do something to attract to those people in there to let them release those dollars.
Yeah, and a quick note, we've talked about this before, but as you're trying to attract those people in there, creating more cash flow, you also want to make sure that everything you have is presentable. You have those employees, things are a little slow. We've talked about how important it is to make sure that your shop is clean, it's orderly, it makes sense.
Very
people can
important.
see product, they can get to it. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you got employees and there's just not a whole lot going on, it's a great time to just, again, examine your store. Because what happens is, and we talked about this in the last podcast with Josh, where he brought up a store owner that had a drum set that had been sitting there for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, he just got used to it, and so did all of his customers. He needed to move that drum set so customers walk in and go, oh, you got a new drum set.
Yeah.
Well, that's the kind of things that I used to do all the time. When we were slow in the summer, I mean, we were moving product. We were cleaning product. We were changing strings, or if, you got to be careful with that because that costs money. We were tuning guitars, or the only time we changed strings during that time is if they needed to be changed. We weren't just freely changing strings, but go through the product, clean them. There's nothing worse than walking over, and seeing a drum set that there's a bunch of dust that's on the bass drum.
Yeah.
Wipe it off, or fingerprints on a bass. And go over there and wipe the guitars down. The amps, especially because a lot of them have black Tolex, are collecting a lot of dust.
You see that dust from a mile away.
Exactly. Go through and clean it up. We used to play music, to have fun music going on. Again, we're not cranking it.
Yeah.
I don't like walking into a music store and the music is just blaring and blasting. It's very distracting. But we had fun music going at a volume that people can talk comfortably with.
Yeah.
But if they weren't talking, they were listening to the music and they were enjoying themselves. So you have to create an atmosphere that is inviting and it is fun.
That's a huge deal. I think that if you're down in the dumps in the middle of July and August and it's hot and you've got the summertime blues and people walk in their store and they feel that, I mean, the chances are they're going to walk right back out, or you're giving them an excuse to go buy it online. I think, atmosphere is a big deal.
It's huge.
I want to walk into a store that's inviting, that looks like, hey, man, we are into what we're doing. We're excited to be here.
I can't tell you how many times we were literally cleaning the store and moving stuff around and doing stuff because, to be quite honest, we were bored.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just bored.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're like, well, let's kill some time and let's move things around and let's decorate. Let's do whatever.
Yeah.
Just to entertain ourselves. Customers would come in and go, hey, what do you guys got going on? You guys got a sale? And immediately their perception was, this is a place that I want to be at.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, moving stuff around, a lot of people would walk in and then they would see something and they'd think, wow, they got a new guitar, they got a new bass, they got a new amp, they got a new something.
Yeah.
Because it was in the back area, now we moved it to the front or moved things around. So it's all about atmosphere right now. It's all about you brought up having a positive attitude. If you have an employee or even yourself, you walk in and you just don't have that positive attitude, man, go get a coffee or whatever you want. Take a few minutes, get out of the store and rethink things.
Yeah.
Because you have to change your mind because it's very, very tough out there, but you don't need to relay that to the customer.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, just to recap, man, when we're in the middle of the summertime blues, it's important that we stay active, we be positive, we don't run away from the problems. Let's attack those problems head on, and so that we can just kind of carry that momentum and create the right atmosphere all through the summertime. It's a lot easier to do that, in February or January, and people have Christmas money and they want to come and just, you can do that. But right now, it's extremely important.
Yeah, and it's also a great time to examine things that you can be doing or that you want to do, or maybe change your store model. I mean, because, traditionally our dealers in store, and I don't know what the age demographics is, and this may offend some people. I don't mean to offend anybody, but a lot of times store owners can be a little bit more mature. Maybe they've had it for a while, and so they're on the backside of their career. So the last thing they want to do is something that causes a whole lot of work and whatever they're going. I don't want to do this. Yeah. But there are some things that we used to do, and there's some things that I've heard customers say that they do today. And I'll bring this up in a second, that is really, really inviting to our dealers or dealers to come in and spend money. So if you are that person to where, man, I just don't feel like doing anything, you may pick somebody in your store that has that charisma about them and maybe empower them to be that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't always have to be us.
Yeah.
A lot of times we need to look around and see who's the best person for this job. And if you have an employee or two or three or four or a whole team of people that have the energy to do some of this stuff and you don't have it, empower them.
Yeah.
Give them boundaries, but let them do their thing, and don't be a critic. Yeah. Shut your mouth.
And of course, we all know that's the sign of a good leader, the sign of a good business owner, that they would empower the people around them.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. So I have a topic that, or something that I think would be helpful, that came from a dealer of ours, and I've heard of another dealer doing the same thing because they're friends, and I think that's where the idea stemmed from, was that they would have a yard sale in front of their store, but the yard sale was not for them to sell product, but they would have other people come in and set up booths, and they set up an atmosphere where people could come in and buy, sell, and trade in their parking lot.
Whoa! Now you're infringing on my territory.
Well, exactly.
What are you doing that for?
And that's the guy that I was talking about earlier, who's an older guy that he doesn't know. Get out of my parking lot.
Sure.
How many times have you heard get out of my store, get out of my parking lot? So we're going to talk about some really foreign topics that at first you gotta check your attitude, because I've been that person. But again, it goes back to run towards, not away.
Yeah.
So think about it. You have all these people in your parking lot that's buy, sell, and trading product out there. What do they get? The end result is you're telling the community, hey, I'm not afraid of this.
Yeah.
They're going to do it anyways. Let's be honest. They're going to sell a product anyways.
Yeah.
They're going to trade anyways. You're just not going to do it around you.
Yeah.
So if you invite them to your store, and you actually set booths out, put tents up, feed them even, cook out, help them.
Yeah.
Then they got a pocket full of money. What are they going to do?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to walk into your store.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what a lot of dealers are not thinking. They're afraid. They're afraid to embrace this kind of stuff. But let's think past that. They're going to go, man, I sold a guitar and I got $500 in my pocket. I'm going to go see what the music store has going on. Mm-hmm. You walk in and, hey, maybe you have stuff on sale. Maybe you do a promotion to where if you buy, sell, or trade, you get an extra whatever off, and it invites them in. Yeah. So now you got people with money that can come into your store and go, hey, I just sold some product.
Yeah.
Also, the guys who are trading out there, they may not have the money and they may leave and you don't get nothing from it. But next time they do, they're going to go, hey, man, those guys were really cool. I'm going to go back to that music store.
Yeah, absolutely. You're the music store. You're the landmark that's there.
Yes,
people
you're the
say,
destination.
Hey, well, we did that yard sale at so-and-so ABC Music or whatever it is. And that's
Dave,
a big deal.
Dave from ABC Music should give us some money for that. That's a
good.
plug.
Dave, that was a plug for you. So,
Yeah.
But and I actually didn't mean to do that. I was trying to think, okay, XYZ music, But that we live in the world of Craigslist.
Yes.
Craigslist is popular. A lot of people love it, and people use it. There's just no way of getting around it. So we need to stop running away from it, and we need to start running towards it and embracing it. And we have people that are saying, "Hey, you want to do your Craigslist swaps? Great. Why don't you meet at my store? Why don't you meet around where I'm at?"
That is such a complicated situation, because as store owners, as managers, as employees, our first reaction is to be defensive.
Oh yeah,
it's
protect what's mine.
Yes, this is my store. This isn't my product. Why should I do that? But again, they're going to do it anyways. That's the thing that we have to realize. It's going on anyways. Except you have no part of it.
Yeah.
Well, if you invite some of these people in, or you let this be a safe place for this, what goes on? Now they recognize they're in your store.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not think outside of the box? Because again, they may do it at the parking lot at Walmart.
Absolutely.
But they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So you might as well bring them in your store, let them plug in an amp, test it out, and whatever. From there on, you have an opportunity to at least bond and connect with that person. So the next purchase, and going back to episodes we talked about, the average was about $10,000 worth of purchases from a guitar player. So how much, however much they've spent, they have more to spend. There's a good chance they can do it in your store.
Yeah.
So don't push them away.
No.
Don't make them resent your store. Invite them in.
Yeah, embrace the
totally
concept.
foreign. It's totally foreign, and you've got to be careful with this because you got to check your own attitude. But this is a conversation where you could sit down with your staff and say, "Listen, I'm going to do this, and this is how I want it to go.
Yeah.
I want it to be inviting." If you plug them in, give them an amp cable. Give them a guitar if they want to test out an amp.
Yeah.
Boy, that's foreign.
I mean, what a better way? Let's just work this out for a second. First of all, you're not going to win. You're not going to win them all. If somebody comes in to do a trade off of Craigslist, you might not get something out of them then, but that's okay. You might get something the next time. Or like, hey, what if you get three out of 10 or 4 out of 10?
Well, you might get their friend because he might go, hey, I bought this amp. I went to this music store and they let me do this. And they're like, really?
Absolutely.
And you're like, yeah, you should check them out.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're not going to buy gear, but maybe their friend does.
That's exactly right. Or what if they come in to try a pedal and it's an expensive pedal and you find out through that, helping them out, that they actually need a cable. Well, hey, I'll sell you a cable.
Yeah.
If you that way you can trade your pedal. I'll sell you a cable and you can go home and you can have everything you need right now. And I think we're not running away, but that's running towards, and that's embracing the hurdles that we have today.
And let's be honest, and we've talked about it. It's a foreign philosophy.
Yeah.
But in today's climate of change, because we're doing more online, we have people complaining about manufacturers going direct, complaining about all this, but we are not evolving, and we have to evolve. So this is something, and again, what we're bringing up is just ideas. We're not telling you if you don't do this, you're going out of business. We're not going down that road, but what we're trying to do is provoke thought, so it opens up ideas, because some of you guys may take our ideas and make them better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're not telling people what to do, but we're just having a conversation of what we can do.
Yeah, well, and also, to be honest with you, we work with hundreds and hundreds of store owners, and we hear ideas coming back, and people are out there trying to do things and reinvent themselves, so to speak. So there's a lot of good ideas flowing out there. So what we'll do is we'll bounce these great ideas out there. So, and another one that I think is a great idea is if you can incorporate, either yard sales, swap meets, or places for people to what better way to maybe get their business than if you could somehow incorporate store credit on some of that.
We never did that, but over the last 24 hours, we've been talking about that. And I think it's a great idea. We have dealers that do it. I wish I would have thought about this a long time ago.
Yeah.
But what a great idea if somebody brings something in that you can give them store credit and give them an extra I don't know, 10, 20% or whatever your numbers are, because at that point you're not. It helps with your cash flow, because if you're giving them credit, you're not opening up a register and giving them money.
Yeah.
And not only that is when they take that money and buy product, you're going to make even more money. Or you're going to make money off of it because you bought it at a cheaper price, and there's margin built in. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the customer, if they want to do that and have store credit, because maybe there's other purchases they're going to look at, and they get a little bit more from trading it in. It gives you product to sell. You don't have to give them cash out, and then you also, when they come back, you make money off that. Yes. I mean, as a store. Man, I don't understand why people don't do more of it. It's a great idea. Now, there's a lot of bugs that need to be worked out.
Sure.
I'm not going through big examples on it, but take that thought and do something with it, because I think it's a great idea. I wish I'd have done it.
And to be honest with you, I mean, you can do that in the summer months. I mean, we have other retail stores that do that and do a great job of it. Kohl's. You go in and buy something at Kohl's, they
do trade-ins. I got some pants with holes in it. I'd like to trade them in. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you can trade your pants in. But what they do is they kind of roll that store credit on. So, like, you go buy something, man, they print that little tag off that says, "Oh, hey, you have $20 of Kohl's bucks." So now you go, well, crud.
Does your wife do that to you? Because, I mean, you're sounding like Hannah. No,
I do that to myself.
Oh, okay.
I go buy a pair of jeans. I'm sitting there going, but the great thing is like a music store, somebody comes in and does a trade, or, hey, you give them store credit, hey, why not roll some of that store credit on? Somebody buys, this product and say, hey, guess what? They get, hey, here's $10 of store credit for the next time that you come in.
It'd bring repeat customers.
Repeat customers, or say, and it gives people that, hey, man, maybe I should go spend that. But it's getting people to come in and be interactive, and especially in slow months. Maybe it's things you could run it through June, July,
maybe
and August.
Maybe it's a summer program.
It's a summer program, or back to school programs and things like that. But I think store credit is a way that you can harness activity when the months are just really dry.
It's a great way to do it. Again, it's at this time of the year, it all reflects around the cash, and this is a way that you don't have to give out a bunch of cash, but you have product that you can sell from the trade-in, and then you also have a person that's guaranteed to come back.
Yeah,
so absolutely. It's a great idea.
Yeah, and jumping on, those are all great ideas. Another one is you were saying, which I think is a big deal, lesson programs fall off in the summertime.
Yeah.
So, which is natural. People go on vacation, they're done with school, they want to go do things, but what are some ways that, there are ways, like, what if you did a battle in the bands in the middle of the summertime, and you have your teachers encouraging people, hey, why don't you join the battle of the bands and keep doing lessons up to that, and maybe it'll encourage them to stay in the program.
Yeah, we did two things. We did battle of the bands, and then with students we did ensembles. So we had a stage in front of our store, and what we did was, on the battle of the bands, we gravitated towards more high school type things, or young adults. The interesting thing is, what happens is, and this just naturally happens, is at that point you don't have a whole lot of experience on playing live or whatever. So people go, man, I need a new guitar. I need a new amp. I need, I'll
sound way better.
I'll sound way better, yeah. And so that happens. But a big part of it is, again, it brings people in. It creates a sense of community. There's a huge loyalty with those bands in your store if you do it right. Yeah, I mean, again, this is where you sit down with your staff and just say, hey, we got to treat these people well. We've got to go over and above to make these people feel home here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then what happens, we used to do it, and it was fun. There were some really, really good bands. They're young, and there's not as much experience there, but you overlook all that. And I remember, I'll never forget, there was a band, and it was when ska music was first kind of hitting the scene.
Oh, man.
And, it's not my favorite kind of music at all. I'd rather listen to polka, but, there was a ska band. they were really fun.
Yeah,
I had to sit there and I go, man, these guys are really fun. And but they came in all the time. They ended up buying gear. Their family. It was a great experience, not because of what they were purchasing, but just the overall experience. Yeah, everything. And then with ensembles, you talk about keeping the retention of the students. But we did ensembles, whether it would be just guitars or we would put bands together. But the interesting thing is we'd do those on like Saturday morning, an hour before we opened up the store. So we would move some of the gear back and put chairs in front, and then we would have coffee and donuts, just light stuff. And it's amazing, these students, grandma and grandpa and mom and dad were guaranteed to be there. And again, you talk about store loyalty.
Yeah.
The son or daughter would be in a lesson and mom would be out there sitting in a chair, not much going on. And now she's engaging with the staff going, hey, my son, he's in a guitar lesson over there, but he's looking for pedals and he liked this one, and they have a sheet of paper, and do you have this? Oh, yeah, we got it right here. Okay, well, I'm going to get it for him. Don't tell him. It's a gift.
Yeah.
And that happened over and over and over and over and over. So those are great. It does a lot. It creates a lot of loyalty, and not only that is the purchases, the commitment. There's just a lot of positive things. So yes, during this time of the year, that's when we look and examine what are some of our strengths. And if you got some really good teachers and you have really good programs, or maybe you don't have a program together, get one of the teachers to come up with one.
Yeah.
And then and a lot of times what we did is we had students that signed up for their class, whether they're guitar player or piano players or whatever. And then if they did an ensemble, they signed up for that as well. So there was more money to the teachers. And we'd say, hey, teachers, you make this money.
Man, that's great.
So you do it because it's slow and I know your students are down.
Yeah.
But put an ensemble together and create more classes, and again, which creates more for the store as well.
Yeah, man, and those are all great ideas, and it's just people constantly thinking forward, embracing, not running away from problems, but embracing the obstacles and hitting them head on first. But I really do think, though, the best way to beat the summertime blues at your store is
go to the beach,
have a guitar contest.
Oh, God.
Come on. We need to bring it back. I've been saying it for a while. Has anybody out there had a guitar contest? I need to hear stories of people that have had guitar contests.
We need video of it.
Actually, that'd be great.
Yes.
Man, hey, we could be the judges. We could do a virtual guitar contest, and we could be the judges.
Yeah, all right. I'll let you get on that. What's funny is at the summer show, we've joked about this a few times, but I was walking into the summer show and there was something like a drum contest, and it was
a drum contest.
Yes, and it gets worse. And they said
it gets worse.
They said the fastest drummer, and I'm like, what does that mean?
Oh, well, I saw it at NAMM a couple years ago in the summertime. They had a contest where who could hit the most beats in like a minute. And it was something insane. Like it's like, I don't know, like 1,100.
They need to have like a taser and tase anybody who gets in that line. This just shock them.
The fastest drummer.
What? Well, I mean,
what was the criteria? Did they have to play Pantera licks? And
I don't know. I just go, oh my goodness, I have got to be on the opposite end of the building.
Yeah,
who wants to? I don't want to hear that. And I play drums. What does that mean? The fastest drummer?
It's got to be that snare thing.
It is. I'm sure it is. But I'm going to take a taser to Winternam, and if they do it, I'm just going to tase whoever's in line to be the fastest drummer.
Yeah, you're right, man. Listen to drummers like that. It's just miserable. I get it. But hey, guitar contest would be awesome. I mean, who out there is becoming the next Eddie Van Halen?
Doing that is like having karaoke.
Well, sometimes karaoke's fun.
To laugh at.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hey, we want to encourage our new students. Obviously, we don't want to laugh at anybody. But, hey, all I'm saying is, man, it's worked in the past.
Right.
Maybe it'll work again in the future.
Maybe we need to have a MIRC guitar contest.
We should. We should have an MIRC guitar contest. We've got a bunch of disgruntled musicians here. I mean, we've got a bunch of great guitar players here.
Yeah. All right, we're digressing. Let's move on. What else do we got?
Man, actually, I don't know. That was kind of getting towards the end was us throwing out good ideas for how to beat the summertime blues, and so, but we've hit a lot. We've hit a lot.
A lot of good topics.
Yard sales, embracing Craigslist, having meeting areas and swap meet areas, incorporating store credit to kind of get people to think, give them the idea to want to come back around. So in fact, we actually have one of our clients does that extremely well. So and they sell other things outside of musical products, so they get a wide audience, but they do that very well. Somebody comes in and goes, "Hey, I want to trade this." Great, hey, I'll give you $20 cash, or I'll give you a $40 store credit.
Wow,
and the percentage of people that say, "I'll take the store credit," is astronomical. So now you get people wanting to shop.
That's a good idea.
Not take that cash and go somewhere else with it.
Sure,
So
I like that idea.
any way you can retain them and keep them in the stores.
Absolutely.
Big deal,
so we gave a lot of good ideas, and a lot of them came from customers. They're not just our ideas; they're customers that have given us feedback, or throughout the years of just talking to people on the phone. So again, we're here to provoke thought. We want everybody, whether you sell online, music stores, whatever your platform is just stop. Get outside of your business. We talked about this in the past, and look inside your business and say, man, how can I get through the next, 6 weeks or whatever it is in your area? And that's what we need to concentrate. Again, in my opinion, it's not about margin as much right now as it is about cash flow. We got to stay in business. We've got to pay our bills. We've got employees. We got electricity bills. We've got, lots and lots and lots of people that want our money. And so we have to look at our assets that are paid for and find out how can we get rid of these things. Again, talk to your employees, sit down with them. I've said this in the past that a lot of store owners, one of the biggest things that I think is a mistake is they're not candid with their employees. They don't sit down and go, listen, we got rough months coming ahead. I need help from all of you guys. It raises the awareness. And again, it's empowering people to do a job to help you.
Makes them feel part of the team.
Oh, of course. So sit down with those people. You don't have to give them all the ins and out details that may or may not be any of their business, but you can sit down and say, listen, we have got to keep these doors open, and this is how we're going to do it. Also, get some of their ideas. You don't have to use every idea they have, but sit down and make them feel important, and maybe they've got some ideas that you hadn't thought about. One last thing that I do want to bring up, and I don't think it's for everybody. I think there's probably a select few out there that it would actually work for, and we're talking about running towards, not away from things, is, it goes back to with online, we have a lot of people that are selling amps and guitars and product, but the biggest thing that I hear people say is, I don't have the box to ship it in, or I don't know how to get this to the next person. And so I think it's a great idea that a music store opens up to those type of people. We get amp boxes in, we get guitar boxes in, and to create a place where you charge a small fee, and especially an amp, that maybe you stock, maybe you're a Fender dealer, and somebody has a Fender amp that they want to sell, save some of the most popular boxes, and then ship it out for them and charge a small service fee, and again, make it easier for them. You run towards that, not away from it. And then, the relief that those people would have, and have them approve your packing, go, hey, here's the box that, it comes with, we're putting the guitar in, we're packing it. How does this look? And then, charge them a small fee. Again, you're not, the natural tendency is to gouge people. I'm going to make you pay for this if I'm going to do this. But actually, charge them a very, very small fee. Because what we're trying to do is create loyalty and make it comfortable for them so they don't feel guilty. They don't feel shame. Shame is a big word that happens a lot in retail. People feel shame when when they walk into a store for whatever reason. Maybe because you didn't buy that here. Why would I help you out with that?
Yeah.
So embrace them, people, and ship something really at a fair price, so the next time they think of you.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. Is we're planting seeds for the next time.
Yeah.
We're not gonna win this time.
Yeah.
But again, they're gonna ship whatever they're gonna ship.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, again, back to what the goal of it all was, is to get people in the store that have money. They just sold something.
They have
shipping
money.
it for it.
Yes.
Now they're in your store.
Yes.
They've got money, and you can drum up conversation with
Yes.
them to go, well, hey, were you thinking of buying something?
Is there another amp you like?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You've got them in the store with the money, and
Yes.
now you've gotten exactly what you need.
And it's all about atmosphere. If you make them feel comfortable, and again, we said safe, and to where it's not a big deal, it's not a threat. They're not feeling shame, but they walk in and they sold an amp and say, again, it's $500. They sold an amp, but they might even be in the amp market.
Yeah.
You may have the brand and the model that they're looking
That's
for.
exactly right.
And they can go, yeah, actually, I sold this amp because I don't like it, but I'm looking for that amp that you have over there. Oh, great. Well, let me plug you in and you can check it out, or I can give you a great deal on that. Let's talk about that. Because again, you brought up the guy has money. Mm-hmm. He has money.
That's what you want.
And that's what you want, is you want a customer in your building. So anyways, that's pretty much what I had.
Yeah.
So
that's it. And just to reiterate what we said before, I mean, you just got to be positive. You got to be
Yes.
moving forward. And I liked from the question from earlier that Greg asked about what can I be learning to be, to get outside of my box, to get outside of my ruts.
Yes, great.
And
great
I
topic.
think people need to write that down on a piece of paper and hang it on their wall, just encouraging themselves. What can I learn new that will help me going forward from today? I think that's
I agree.
Always
Smart.
something
Smart,
very smart.
yeah.
So anyway, but
All right.
yeah, is that what we got?
I'm done.
All right, everybody, the Music Retail Show at gmail.com.
For the straps.
Email us your ideas on how to beat the summer blues, things that you've done that have been, they've been proven, or maybe you're working on it now. We'd love to hear how it's going to work out in the future. But either way, we've got 2 straps here. You do that, we'll put you in the drawing and you can win those.
Sounds like fun.